Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Andertons TV. It's a Monday morning.
It is.
I've had COVID again. What's going on?
Well, it's not over yet, is it?
No.
We just pretended it's like
anyway,
everything else.
I didn't get it bad, but I wasn't allowed to be here last week.
No.
So we're a little late to the party with our video on the new Laney studio.
Yes.
But that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Bit of housekeeping first.
Housekeeping.
Right? It's getting cold outside, right? So now might be a good time to go and buy an Andertons sweatshirt or a hoodie.
Yeah, when you drive around.
Please like and subscribe, because when every time we hit some sort of subscriber milestone, we'll be giving something away to our subscribers. And if at any time you get bored in this video, like now maybe,
already.
Timestamps below might fast forward you to something more interesting.
I'm bored already.
Yes. Right. So back in 1967, it's easy for me to say. Back in 1967, the Laney introduced this epic-looking, not this particular one, but this epic-looking amplifier. Tony Iommi used it, 100-watt super-duper thingy. What is it called? The Laney Super?
It's the LA100, the BL LA100 BL or something like that. Super.
Then in 2017, to celebrate its 50th anniversary, Laney reissued it, and now in 2022. Captain's log, stardate 2022.
Can't believe it's almost
we have got this amazing studio version of it with, for the first time ever, I think, on a Laney amplifier, built-in 2-notes torpedo technology. So we're going to have lots of different sounds. It's a pretty simple amplifier. So it is a valve amplifier, albeit a very small one. So on its maximum output, it's a 3-watt amplifier. It has a brake mode that will take it down to 0.1 of a watt.
0.1?
So this is very much a studio kind of home use amplifier, although actually it's louder than I thought it would be.
With this.
You can run it into a guitar cabinet like this, or you can use the 2-notes torpedo output to run straight into your desk or your computer interface.
Door.
And then, of course, you can choose from an infinite number of impulse responses, of which straight out the box there are some Laney ones that come with this, like half a dozen Laney ones, plus 2 extra ones that you get for free when you register. There's no reverb. I say there's no reverb. There's no reverb in the amp, but the 2-notes torpedo gives you the functionality to add reverb from within that.
Which is excellent.
There's no effects loop. There's no channel switching. It's all about basically trying to capture that sound of that late 60s Laney valve tone. Made famous by none other than Tony Iommi. So,
and others as well. I thought Noel Gallagher used it on the
Not in 1967, but he may have done more recently.
I mean, a lot of people have used them a lot of times.
So, very simple. Gain, treble, middle, bass, presence, okay? So, with a low output pickup guitar and the gain round about 3 or 4, it's a nice kind of clean sounding. Here we go.
Now we're running out of the cabinet, right? So what you're hearing now is the cabinet and the 2 microphones, which actually is the microphones that they use on the IR or the what is it called?
Within the torpedo.
Within the torpedo, they've used exactly a 101 Royer and a 57.
121.
121, yeah.
Absolutely.
121.
Okay,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
let's start with this guitar. We've got a reverb pedal on the floor and from Laney, and a drive pedal from Laney, and a tuner.
Yeah. It's just a nice, gentle, clean sound that doesn't hurt anyone,
It's got a slightly unusual power tube in the output section. I say unusual, not unusual for amps trying to do this sort of, sub 5-watt kind of vibe. It's a valve that you'd probably more expect to find in a preamp circuit than a power amp circuit. So it's not your traditional EL34 or anything like that. But it works well for a low power amplifier. We've got 2 guitars here, one with a single coil and the P90 on it, one with some humbuckers on it like that. They're all fairly affordable, these guitars, so
absolutely.
Kind of keeping it real today.
Keeping it real, baby.
So that was into the bass input. Like lots of valve amplifiers of this era, you've got this idea of 2 different channel inputs, so they're not channel switchable as such, but one is a slightly bassier sound, one's a slightly treblier sound. when we're using the cab, the reverb you're hearing is coming from the little Laney pedal. So
Secret path.
let me just, we'll leave it on the bass channel for a bit, and I'll just start to increase the gain here. There's no master volume, which is a bit of a bummer, because what it does mean is essentially the more gain I want from the amp, just the louder it's going to get.
I'm just going to turn the reverb down because we are running that straight in the front. It's just a good sound,
really
though. It's
loud. I mean, it's not triggering the decibel meter as loud as I thought it would, but it sounds loud.
It sounds fat and juicy. It's the same with the 30-watt version, which we do have here. It's just, which is...
That's the Mama Bear. The Daddy Bear is the 100-watt one. That's the Mama Bear one, and then this is Baby Bear.
Who's been sleeping in my bed?
Absolutely.
Who's been eating my
covered
porridge?
in
Sorry, what?
covered in porridge.
Porridge, yeah, covered in porridge. All over. I mean, that's a great sound.
It's a great sound.
It's a great sound, and it's the sound you get from this, not from anything else.
Pop the drive pedal over the top.
Okay,
just to sort of...
this is the steel part. Without, it's almost like it kicks
I would.
A bit more treble maybe on that one.
I would be really. I know Laney are advertising this as a studio amplifier, but I'd be amazed if you couldn't get at least enough volume out of this for an onstage monitor, and then give the sound man the 2 notes output on the back.
This is enough for that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like 3 watts, does it? You know, you think about 3 watts is the same volume on paper as a Black Star Fly. I mean, it's like...
Well, this is because it's tubes, man.
It's tubes and big speakers.
It's tubes.
Okay, so let's see what it sounds like in the treble channel.
There it goes. Yeah, more trebly. This is without any overdrive on it, so... If I dial off the back off the volume, it's with the pedal. It's a British sound, isn't it?
It's very British.
It's such a British, distinctive British tone.
And of the era, that late 60s valve tone was not super smooth and compressed in the way that perhaps modern gain tones have become. You know, it's quite raw and raspy.
I like that, raw and raspy.
Let's jump the 2 channels.
Can you jump the channel? That's a big jump.
That would be a big jump. If you were Superman, you could. Okay, so now we're running, essentially what's happening here is the guitar's going in here. This is now coming out and back into the bass channel. So you've got both channels running simultaneously.
Oh, I can hear it already. Yeah, that's much fatter, isn't it? I've turned the reverb off because I can. It's kind of that. It's that kind of sound, isn't it? From that era.
But I love the fact that so many modern kind of, pop rock kind of bands are using that kind of guitar sound as well.
It's a good sound, man. It's a good sound.
Let's have a little listen with the humbucker.
It's very fat, isn't it?
Very. That would be my only.
But
I think it's inherent in amps of this era that the treble pickup is what you need to kind of cut through on any. You know, I noticed it on this guitar, that one.
It's too flabby.
It's a bit
isn't
flabby, isn't it? I mean,
same on the 30 watt. To be honest,
yeah,
it needs to be gunned.
So we're putting the EQ now, so mid and treble up quite high, and then bass rolled off a bit. I think if I was gigging with this, I'd just use the treble channel.
Yeah, absolutely. But how loud does it go? Can we just try and see? So it's not too loud. This sounds better.
That's really interesting. Okay, I don't know if you can see the decibel meter over Pete's shoulder here. All that's happening between, say, volume 5 and volume 10 on here is you're getting 1 or 2 dB more volume. So not much more volume, but just a lot more distortion.
Yeah,
so,
and I think it sounds better when it's all the way up. It's like the little, the little Princeton amps. You know, when it's loud up to like 2 or 3, and then when you gun it, it just gets a bit more overdriven. Yeah.
Well, that's a good sound. So I'll start rolling it up.
Some good.
That's everything. I've just gunned all the EQ.
I mean, some raspy. It's got that raspy. It's a good sound.
So before we jump over to listening to it through the torpedo output, I'm just going to show you what the brake does. So the brake is now dropping it down to 0.1 of a watt. So here we go.
I mean, I can hear it more through. It works at home, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It is a good sound, though, man. It is a good sound.
So that is everything that you're going to hear now through the cabinet. But I suspect most people using this amplifier will, make the most of the two-notes thing. And the two-notes thing is killing it at the moment because I kind of feel like you're talking to two people here who haven't been the biggest fans of kind of DI'd guitar sound, and
it's come along,
the last 6 months or so of, we had Sean Tubbs in recently to show us the Rev D20, which was one of the earliest adopters of that sort of two-notes tech. Yeah. We had the Victory V4 amps that now have the two-notes tech in, and now this as well. And I am going, I don't know if it's the IR technology or something that two notes are doing specifically, but it is a bit like, oh man, it's really good now, isn't it? It's very, very, very usable. So this next bit, we're hearing it through our little studio monitors in the room, which are a pair of Cali
08.
The ones with the 8-inch drivers. Not crazy loud.
Nope.
Now, there's no, I haven't got to do anything clever to make the two notes thing work here. All I've got to do is unplug the speaker cabinet.
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
So it's no longer plugged in. The load box now is kicked in. So we're still running a proper valve amplifier, but into the two notes load box now, the reactive load box in there. There'll be a screenshot on screen now of typically what the main edit page within the Torpedo software is. You have got to, I don't think there's Bluetooth in there.
No, you have to hook it up with
Okay, so if you're if you're sort of familiar with the 2 Notes range, you'll know there's a product called the Captor X, which, if you like, this is kind of like the Captor X is sort of built into this. You can, via Bluetooth on the Captor X, do all your sort of, editing.
Well, maybe there is. We have a look.
And I'm sure it would have said on the manual if that's the case. So on this product, and pretty sure the Rev and the Victory is the same, you have got to plug it in via USB cable.
Yeah.
Plug your laptop in via USB. So anyway,
but then you can have a laptop, and you can have a little USB dock on your desk, and you can have 4 of these different amps plugged in with your Torpedo, and you can just hook up. And
so I'm going to stand behind. Again, we'll quickly flash a picture of the back of the amplifier, but you can see now over by the XLR output, there's a headphone output. That's super cool, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a 6-position dial for you to choose which cabinet you want. And again, out the box will be preset with 6 Laney cabinets, but you can then reassign those to your favorite IRs if you want to.
Yeah.
And then the coolest bit here is there's a level control, so we can absolutely gun the behemoths out this amplifier, but
and there's MIDI, which means that you could potentially...
There's MIDI as well.
Which means you can swap the MIDI, and Rebecca was talking about MIDI codes and stuff. So if you are using it at a gig,
so you could control which speaker cabinet you're using for any given time via MIDI. That's a bit excessive, isn't it? Don't know if that's anyway.
Okay. Is it? Why not if you can?
Right. So yeah, bonkers, right? So now I'm going to leave it on the first cabinet, which I think is a 412, a Laney 412.
Yeah, it's like just a studio.
Now, again, within the 2 Notes editing software is reverb. There's EQ.
Yep.
Obviously, you choose your microphones and rooms and cabinets and all that kind of stuff. But the first one is just a dry 412. So if we want reverb, we've still got to use the pedal. Just sounds like a bloody guitar cab, doesn't it? It's mad. I mean,
nothing wrong with that at all.
It clearly doesn't. If you're in the room, it doesn't capture necessarily the amount of bass end that's coming out of this cabinet. But I'm sure if you're just listening through, your headphones or an iPhone speaker or whatever, I bet you can't even tell the bloody difference. Can we just again try it with some reverb and distortion and all that kind of malarkey?
It is a fat sounding amp, isn't it?
I do prefer both guitars on their bridge pickups.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a sound, isn't it?
So what is cool about this now is there's no problem at all tonking the volume right up and then just compensating on the back with the volume. That's no pedal, right?
No pedal.
That's just the gain.
There's a bit of pedal.
Sorry, I didn't mean to turn my back on you there. I'm just looking through. So I've got the 6 guitar amps now on my phone.
Turn that down a bit.
Sorry, guitar cabs on my phone. So I thought we could just go through those one at a time. Do you want to change guitar back over to this one, or are you
can do? Yeah. I can. Yeah, let me do that.
Okay, so as we said before, that was a Laney LA 412 cabinet with a 57 and a Roya 121 on it. Mm-hmm. The second one is a 2x12 with the same 2 mics. Let's just pop onto the second one.
Do no pedals on this.
Let's get a reference tone of what the... here's the 212.
I like the way it cleans up as well. It's nice. Even just playing softly on the guitar and then hard on the guitar and then back pick.
So those first two cabs are what they describe as being in a studio environment. So that's one where, again, there'd be no sense of any sort of acoustic ambience within the room.
Yeah, you put that on after
Preset 3 goes back to the 412, but now with a little bit of ambience from a bigger room.
There you go. Yeah, definitely a room thing.
No reverb pedal definitely off.
Yeah,
everything you're hearing now is coming from, the reverb rather, is coming from the Torpedo.
It's definitely a bigger studio room.
It's great. And don't forget, all of this is editable, so you can, increase, decrease the reverb, whatever you want to do. Next preset is a smaller cab, but in a bigger venue. Prince described that. Wasn't he playing his... What's the lyric? Playing his organ in a cathedral or something like that, isn't he? Okay, same two mics though. It's always been the 57 and the 121 on this, but so 212 in a big venue. I love that raspy roar of it.
Yeah, it's such a nice sound. It is fat though, isn't it? The neck pickup is super fat.
Yeah, we're in. Okay,
that's a good sound.
Two more to go. I mean, in fairness, it's the same two cabs all the way through this 6 presets here. It's just in different environments. So this next one now is back to the 412 in a bright, clean environment, unlike
my house,
our bathroom.
Sounds very much the same, doesn't it?
Go. Lastly, well, I say lastly, there are two extra cabs that you get for free just by registering this product when you buy it. And actually, if you're familiar with how IRs work, there are billions of free ones, as well as lots of good ones that you can buy. Here's the last one, in 212 in a cathedral.
Good more dry, maybe. One could say you're playing in a steel park, literally. Can you play some Iommi kind of stuff on that?
Oh my gosh, really? I don't know about that, but
something.
I might need to. I don't know. Did he ever play with that much reverb? I don't think he did.
No, we'll
you're
go back.
You're going to go back. Maybe just one or two. I don't know.
I go back here, try that, see what we got. No,
yeah,
that doesn't
work. It feels like it needs more.
More what?
More just everything, just to be Tony Iommi. It's like,
Okay, go on then.
that obviously
That's a good
wasn't
sound.
a Tony Iommi riff, but it was that kind of, it's that heavier sort of simple, lots
Sounds
of power
great,
chord. Anyway,
sounds good, man.
I like it. I genuinely am sold now on this technology. But I guess the bit that you've got to make a decision on in terms of when you're buying now is, for me, almost one of the biggest winners as products like this come out is the actual 2-Notes Torpedo Captor X. Because it's like, if you've already got a valve amplifier that you like, but let's say it's 100 watts or 50 watts and it's just unusable at home, and you're going, I'd love to be able to use that in my studio, then the 2-Notes Torpedo Captor X, which is about 400 or 500 quid, that you plug your valve amplifier. I mean, that's what anybody that follows me on Instagram or Facebook and they see me playing in my office, that's what I've got, is a 50 watt valve amplifier into a Torpedo Captor X, into a pair of little studio monitors. I'm sort of looking at this sort of going, it looks badass. I mean, who wouldn't want this in a little home studio? Great little pedal amplifier. It's got some nice clean sounds. It's kind of, you could have a little 112 under your desk if you want to get some air moving, or you could run it into your speakers. But there's a lot, it's what we haven't talked about yet is the price. So it's British made, so it's probably going to be a little more expensive than maybe it would have been had Laney decided to do this out of their Far Eastern manufacturing. So it's $849.
It's not too bad.
I don't think it's too bad, but again, it's an interesting one. So what would you do at 800? You've got some of our most favourite amplifiers of recent months have been the Marshall Studio Series.
Can you imagine that they put that stuff in here?
Well, they're louder, more traditional valve amplifiers that you'd have to then buy the Captor X to go with if you wanted to do that. I don't know what's happened over the last 5 or 6 years, well, particularly even over the last 12 or 18 months, really changed my perception on it. I think the only thing that's still important to be aware of is although you can essentially download sort of any IR and play it through a Captor X or any number of different IR devices. There is some sense, and again, I'm not an expert on this, but there is some sense that it's the device itself, so like the Captor X that's in here, or maybe the TC Impulse or the Moa radar, the device itself dictates how much of the impulse response it's actually able to replicate.
I remember that.
So like the really good impulse response devices will effectively capture more. Of the response. So I think do be careful just thinking, oh well, I've seen this 50 quid IR device, whatever. It may not be as good
enough
as
if that's what you
might sound good enough.
Depending on your speakers and what else is going on, I'm sorry, I turned it down on the back.
No, we don't need to play anymore.
No,
it's long enough. It's a good video and nice as well.
It looks cool.
We are clearly, companies are learning that it's good to have things in stock on the day you launch them. Because I gather these are sitting in our warehouse right now. So no need to wait for ages. But there you go. Look,
it looks so cool, man.
It does look great.
And have that and whatever, these small little heads, and just have a rack
it's
of them.
very lightweight. We didn't really talk about that as well. Very lightweight.
This cab we didn't mention is the cab from the 30
That's
watt.
the 212, isn't it?
Yeah.
So look, there you go. Hope it's been helpful. Links are below.
And if it hasn't, hey.
Yes, absolutely. At least you've just bunked off work for 20 minutes while you watch this video. So
Bunk
anyway,
off at work.
Yes,
Don't do that.
Right.
Unless you got cold, of course.
We shall see you in another video soon. Au revoir.